Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. My name's Osirus, and in today's video we're going over how you can get a guaranteed shiny from any hyperspace wild zone in the Mega Dimension DLC. So we're just about 5 days in after the release of the Mega Dimension DLC as of recording this video, and new information about the game is coming out and being discovered all the time. One of the biggest confirmations that we've had about the games is setting up a sparkling power level 3 donut and it guaranteeing you a shiny Pokemon in whatever hyperspace wild zone you go into. There are some caveats around this, of course. Type that sparkling power level 3 donut refers to has to match the type of the Pokemon in the hyperspace wild zone that you're going into. As long as those two match up, then a shiny is guaranteed. Because you normally get 3 or more types of Pokemon in these hyperspace wild zones, there is also a way for you to change which Pokemon becomes shiny, and that's what we're going over in today's video. And we also now have confirmation of the shiny odds with those sparkling powers, thanks to Anubis over on X, who has published this information. Their handle and this info will be down in the description below if you want to check that out in more detail. But just to give you an idea of the shiny odds, so Sparkling Power Level 1 donut is going to give you odds of 1 in 2048. Sparkling Power Level 2 is going to give you odds of 1 in 1365. Sparkling Level 3 gives you the equivalent shiny odds that you get with the shiny charm of 1 in 1024. And then you can stack these sparkling powers with the shiny charm. So if you have the shiny charm in game, the odds are going to increase even further. With a sparkling power level 1 donut, your odds with the shiny charm are going to be 1 in 819. With a sparkling level 2 donut, it's going to be 1 in 683. And the best odds that you can get from any hyperspace wild zone with the shiny charm and a sparkling power level 3 donut are going to be 1 in 585. And it has been confirmed that these sparkling powers do affect the special scan legendaries Latios, Latias, Cobalion, Terrakion, and Virizion as well. And yes, I am working on a video covering the best shiny hunting methods for these legendary Pokemon. It'll be out on the channel in a couple of days, so if you're interested in shiny hunting them for yourselves, keep an eye on the channel for that dropping very soon. So the best way to make a sparkling power level 3 donut is going to be using this exact method to make these level 3 sparkling power donuts. So you are going to have to have progressed a little bit further into the DLC, completing main mission 9 and getting the hyperspace butter so you can make donuts with at least 8 berries. Once you've done that, you're going to be good to go. You're obviously going to need to go out and get the berries as well, but we have a berry farming guide here on the channel. It's going to be really helpful. I'll link it in the description. It'll be a card in the top right hand corner if you want some help getting some of those rarer hyperspace berries. Now, the first thing that you're going to want to do is come to any Pokemon Center in Lumios. We're going to set up a backup save point. Now, you do this by coming into the Pokemon Center, speaking to the Pokemon Center lady, and then just exit out when this menu pops up. When you do exit out, in the top right hand corner, you're going to see that notification of now saving. That's the auto save kicking in. And now we've set that backup save location. So when we access that backup save, we're going to be coming back to this point in the game. Now we've set that up, we're going to head down to Hotel Z and we're going to make ourselves a donut. We're going to specifically making it for any type that you want for a level 3 sparkling power. And to do this, we're going to be concentrating on using berries that have the highest amount of sweet stats in their attributes. So these are all going to be the hyperspace berries, and the ones that we're going to specifically be looking at and targeting are going to be the Tanga berry, which is highlighted here. That gives you 95 in that sweet stat and very little in everything else. So it means that we can really isolate the specific powers that we want. That sparkling power, alpha power, humongo power. They're the ones that we want to be seeing, and then we can isolate with just using 8 hyper Tanga berries. Now you can mix and match, of course, as well. You've got the Tanga berry here, which is a really good option. Haban berries, another nice option as well. So you can get the sweet and you can get the fresh. The fresh offers you the encounter power and things like that. But just to keep it simple, I would just use 8 Tanga berries, and then I would just lock in and just see what our results are. Now we can use the same berries each and every time, but the results are always going to vary. That's why we set the backup save up. So if we don't get the powers that we want this time around, we can just reset the game, access that backup data. Now this donut's been created, the game has dropped an autosave. So if we reset the game normally, we're going to come back to this point and we're going to be stuck with a donut that we don't really want. We're not going to make much use of, and we've not got those Tanga berries to make another one. So we'd have to go out and farm them. But to save ourselves that trip, we can close the game completely. And then when we're on the title screen, we press up on our D-pad and X and B, and this accesses our backup data, and then we come into the game this way. This will take us to the Pokemon Center where we set that backup save up, and we've got our Tanga berries back, and we have no longer got that donut with those powers that we didn't want. So we just repeat this process. We go back down to Hotel Z. We do the same exact thing. We use those 8 Tanga berries, create another donut, and hope this time we get that sparkling power level 3 donut that we're looking for. So again, there's the 8 Tanga berries. Hit that and see what we get. Ansha, give us that sparkling power level 3 for something in alpha. There we go. Ooh, oh, nearly. I thought we had it there. So sparkling power for ice level 1, alpha power level 3. That is a pretty good donut though. I am kind of tempted to keep that, but we're not going to keep it. We're trying to get something a little bit better. So again, we would just repeat this process over and over until we get something we're happy with. Okay, we landed on something that's pretty decent, which is sparkling power level 3 for ghost type Pokemon with that humongo power level 3. So when you land on something that you're happy with, you're good to go. And the next thing before we enter any hyperspace wild zone is we want to then come back and drop and set up another autosave point. So we're going to come and speak to the Pokemon Center lady again. Menu comes up, we just exit out, that autosave drops, and now we're going to be able to go into any hyperspace wild zone, use that donut, check the shiny, and then reset back here if we don't get what we want. So next thing is have a look at what we've got available on our map. So we've got this one here, which is an ice type one, which is going to be actually really interesting. So we can isolate hunt the Frozlass in this area because it's a dual type Pokemon. So if we use this sparkling power level 3 ghost type donut in this wild zone area, it's going to guarantee us a shiny, but it's going to guarantee us a shiny of just the Frozlass and not the other two. This one's probably quite a good example. Now we've got the autosave set up, we can head here and I'll show you exactly how this would work. We'll go in, we'll locate our sparkling power level 3 for ghost type Pokemon. We'll use this and I'll show you exactly what I mean. So the other two Pokemon can never be shiny, but we will be able to get the Frozlass as a shiny. So if that's something that you're wanting to go after, this method is a really good way of doing it. You can see the notification there, catch a shiny Pokemon. So all we need to do is find the Frozlass wherever it is. It will be pretty close to our vicinity here. And there we go. Shiny Frozlass is right there. So you can see it amongst the Glalie there. The shiny Frozlass. This is how you can isolate hunt certain Pokemon using this, but it guarantees you the shiny Frozlass if that's something that you're wanting to go for. Fortunately, that's not really the target that I would like. So if it isn't, you come in and you don't get the Pokemon that you want, just close the game and then go back to that backup save that we did earlier at the Pokemon Center, and then we get that donut back and we can go into another hyperspace wild zone. So here we are at the Pokemon Center. We can open our map back up again and we can take a look at the wild zones that we've got available. So there's that one there. We got any other ghost type ones? Of course, if you're on your map and you've got no hyperspace wild zones that match your donut that you've set up, you can then just re-roll the hyperspace wild zones by just coming to any bench, turning day to night or night to day. And when you do that, it's going to mean that all of the hyperspace wild zones on your map are re-rolled, so that they're all going to be brand new. And when you come back in to check, you'll have a whole host of new ones that you can go and explore. So it's a good way of just cycling through until you land on something that you would like to go after. Okay, so this is the one that I would like to go after. It's a medium hyperspace wild zone. It's got the Litwick, the Lampent, and the Mimikyu. The Mimikyu is definitely my target here. So what we're going to do is, now we're all ready to go in, we'll set up that backup save. We'll go to the Pokemon Center, get that autosave dropped. We'll mark it on our map, and then we'll head over to it. Okay, so now we're here. What we're going to do is use that Sparkling Power Ghost donut that we set up earlier, and it's going to guarantee that we're going to get that notification popping up of catch a shiny Pokemon, and one of these 3 Pokemon that are on that overlay are going to be shiny. But which one will be shiny? Well, we won't know until we go in, but that's why we've got the backup save. So straight away we find out it is going to be the Shuppet. So shiny Shuppet as soon as you come in is going to be the shiny in this area. So we're spawning in right here. Now what we can do is just close our game, because Shuppet isn't really my target for this one, and it wasn't on the overlay either, so it kind of proves a point as well. There can be other ghost type Pokemon in these wild zone areas that can be shiny, not just the ones on the overlay. So you can get a different variety of other types as well in the wild zones. But we come back into game now. We've accessed our backup save. We're going to be able to go back over to this hyperspace wild zone. We've got a donut back as well, which is the main thing that we haven't used it. And now we can re-enter using the same donut and see if our results change. Now we know we're going to get that notification popping up, but our target is Mimikyu, and that's what we're going to be doing this for, going after the Mimikyu until we get it. Now, if you can take a little bit extra time with your donut setup, you can always make sure that you've got something like alpha power with it as well. TNC might be something that you want to go for an extra small, or Humongo for an extra large size one, or alpha might be another one. But it's worth taking the time, I think, when you're setting that donut up to start with, getting the powers right before you dive in and do the hunt for the specific Pokemon. But this method definitely makes getting those specific Pokemon a little bit easier. And now you can see we've got Litwick in front of us, and our Litwick here is shiny. And as tempting as it is to get, I've already hunted this in the base games, so I no longer want it. But we can take a look around us. Is there anything else in and around our vicinity? There is not. But what we're hoping for basically is doing this method over and over, and eventually the Mimikyu to be the Pokemon that are in front of us when we spawn in. That would be ideal, and that would be the best case scenario. But you're guaranteeing yourself a shiny using this method. Now, the funny thing is, I could just use a Sparkling Power level 3 for fairy types in this wild zone, and it would guarantee me the Mimikyu no trouble at all, because there's no other fairy types in here. But for the examples of this guide, I kind of wanted to show you that you can cycle through the different Pokemon that are available in these wild zones to get the one that you want using this method. So it almost does guarantee you the shiny every single time. You just got to do this method. It takes a little bit of time, but you can isolate the Pokemon as well. If you've got the resources to make those extra donuts, then that is always a possibility. That is the Shuppet. Shuppet is further down this time. Another Litwick. Banette shiny this time. There we go. Shiny Banette. There we go. We got the Mimikyu finally. Okay, that's awesome. We've got the Mimikyu. Right. Well, that did take a little while to do, but we finally managed to get the shiny Mimikyu. And we've cycled through the Banette, the Shuppet, the Litwick, the Lampent, and we finally landed on the target that we were going for. So there it is. That's how you can basically manipulate the Pokemon in these hyperspace wild zones. And like I said, we could have then isolated this if we'd wanted. If we had that Sparkling Power level 3 for fairy types, it would have meant that Mimikyu would have always been the only Pokemon that could have been shiny in this, because the rest of the Pokemon are ghost. So that's a way that we could have made it a little bit easier. But for the purposes of this video, I did want to just do the manipulation method where we can just cycle through these Pokemon and just give an example of how you would go about getting them in game using this method. Okay, well, we better catch this Mimikyu. Now we've cycled through the Lampent, the Shuppet, the Banette. We've had all of them. Mimikyu, all I can say is I'm sorry. What ball? Let's go try for a moon ball here. Okay, Tyranitar. Mimikyu's so friendly. Let's break that shield and then get that disguise broken. And now we can get you in a moon ball, hopefully. There we go. Mimikyu got. So there is our Mimikyu, and that's basically the method of how you can guarantee any shiny Pokemon from any of the wild zone areas in hyperspace. Just using this method. Sparkling Power level 3 donut. I keep wanting to say sandwich when I do this. I need to get out of Scarlet and Violet mode and more into Luminosity mode. But yes, just using a Sparkling Power level 3 donut, and you're going to be able to isolate Pokemon as well, like we talked about. If there is a specific type of Pokemon that matches your Sparkling Power level 3 donut in an area where there is no other Pokemon with that type, and then you can isolate that specific Pokemon, take advantage of the hunting methods with that way, and yeah, just use this and get any shiny Pokemon you want. The hardest part is going to be getting that donut with the specific type with that level 3 to begin with, and then farming the berries. But we've got guides on the channel It will all help you with that sort of thing as well. Let me know if you're going to be using this method, what your first target with it is going to be, and if you'll use that isolation method as well to do it. But we'll wrap things up there, friends. I hope you found today's video helpful, useful. If it has been, do consider dropping a like. It does really help out, and do subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all of our Pokemon content that we cover here on the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day. Good luck shiny hunting, and I'll see you all in another video very soon. So until then, take care and bye-bye.